From the beautiful campus of Casper College, it's the T-Birds Coaches Show, bringing you game breakdowns, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews. Here's your host, Tom Myler.
Welcome back, T-Bird fans, to, of course, another fantastic Casper College Coach Show. Returning once again, Coach Dwight Gennari. Welcome back, Coach.
Glad to be here. Always enjoy.
Well, we love having you here because it's always fun talking basketball with you.
Thanks.
Especially Casper College women's basketball because they're winning and we like it. I mean, even if they weren't winning, we'd still like you. Don't worry. Yeah. But I mean, it just makes us feel a little better seeing that W on the result call.
They have been on a nice little run there. I'm just real pleased with, it takes quite a bit to put a streak together. We do have the one loss against Western Wyoming, but I think we've won like 13 or 14 out of our last 15 prior to that. So they have been on a nice run and earned every win they've gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you played a tough LCCC team, a tough Eastern team. And let's actually just start with the Eastern one. I was very impressed. I think in that first quarter, you scored, 28 points, I think?
28 or 29 points, yeah. We might have made our first 6-7 shots, which is always a great way to start the basketball game. But I think that first quarter, and maybe you could lump in the first half, was some of our best offensive basketball and defensive basketball of the season. So that was a fun start. Eastern's a very good basketball team, and to their credit, they battled back and kept the game close. They could have given up with a 20-point deficit in that first half, and they didn't. So we were able to close that one out, but it sure was enjoyable to get off to a fast start.
Yeah, I know. Especially, I mean, look at the beginning of the season and just some other games, you're starting behind, you're having to crawl back, and it's just you look at the first quarter, just like, that's just the first quarter? Like, have they ever scored that many in the first quarter?
That's probably our biggest for the season. Yeah, I would say that's probably our largest number in the first quarter there. So we would love to duplicate that. But, when they do happen, when those situations like that happen, it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. I mean, it felt good. It looked good. I felt like everything was kind of clicking together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, things slowed down a little bit in the second half. Obviously, Eastern probably made some adjustments, and they did keep it close. I feel like, that was a great 40 minutes of basketball.
It was, and it was really nice because we did get that lead. We were able to, rest some of our starters a little bit throughout that game because we had to turn around and play LCCC in less than 24 hours. And so, that Friday night game played out as good as it possibly could for us.
Mm-hmm. So what would probably be your favorite from that game? What's the favorite thing that happened for you?
Gosh, again, that first quarter was so good. Not only did we hit shots, which is always, what you hope for, but defensively, our defensive game plan was executed tremendous. I think we held them to 3 points for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, the offensive piece was fun for sure, but defensively, they were well prepared and did a great job.
Well, let's talk about practice then here, because let's talk about practice.
I'm a practice person, so yes, I don't have any problem with that.
So in order to get the execution, because for me, it's thinking, all right, the result isn't necessarily the comfort. It's the kind of the confirmation that you've already done something well, right?
Yes.
So what is it that you do in practice that you feel like really prepares your team?
Well, I think it's game to game. Each team has certain strengths, and you want to focus on those strengths, or they have certain individuals that are very good at certain things, and you want to. So sometimes your emphasis is on the defensive side. Sometimes it's on what can we do offensively against this team, and even from special situations, out of bounds plays and stuff like that. So it is really a game to game. What is our focus in practice, depending on who we're playing.
Yeah. So you really have to break down saying, hey, this team, they've got this player who can hurt you on the perimeter or down low. We need to adjust in this way, and then that should be a better result.
Absolutely. And it is a lot for our players because, it's not the same cookie cutter game plan every game because, each team's different and each team has different strengths and weaknesses. So, it's a lot of credit to our kids to be able to pick up what we're supposed to try to do on game day and then execute it. And so when I mentioned the defensive execution against Eastern, that plays a role in it. They practiced well, prepared well, and it carried out into the game.
I love it. Yeah, it's a lot of people don't like to mention, but basketball is definitely a mental game. You have to see things, be aware, and just have that basketball IQ.
It is incredible what they are required to remember. So there's sometimes I catch myself like, is this information overload? Is this too much for them to handle? And so far they passed the test, but you always have to be aware of that.
Absolutely. So great win against Eastern. You come in against LCCC. I feel like you controlled the game, but definitely still a tough one.
Yeah, it was. It was, it never got to the point where we jumped out on them, and I think we trailed earlier in the game, and it never got to where I felt like we were in complete control.
Mm-hmm.
We would build double-digit leads, but then they would come back, and even in the fourth quarter there, I think we were up 17, 19 points, and then they had Williams came in and hit like 3 threes in the fourth quarter to get it back down to 12 or 10 and stuff like that. So it was a game where I thought we played well enough to win, obviously, and had some really good moments, but we just never got complete control of the game, and that's a credit to LCCC. They have some perimeter players that can shoot it.
Yeah, I definitely, they would have these little spouts of just, they'd score quickly and get it, and then our girls would kind of, I don't know, they would miss some shots, not get some rebounds, give them opportunities, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, we're supposed to play defense, and then kind of go back to playing normal, and then they'd have some spouts. There's a little consistency, I guess.
It is the ebbs and flows of the game, and you're right. And that's what we're shooting for or striving for, is being more consistent on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And that first quarter against Eastern was about as consistent as we've been on both ends of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think we're trending in the right direction. We are getting, maybe 25 to 30 minutes of consistent basketball on both ends. Our goal is to get to 40, but, we're probably better there than we were a month ago, which you always hope for. So your point of being consistent possession to possession on both ends of the floor is what we're striving for. And sometimes we have lapses.
So you talked about improvement. So and you could tell player, area of the game. From this season, what have you said your girls have improved on the most?
I guess I don't know if this is exactly answering your question. The thing that has happened the last several games that I'm really encouraged about is we're getting 4 or 5 players in double digits now, scoring wise, and that's if we have a balanced scoring attack and teams can't focus on 1 or 2 players, then that makes our night a lot easier offensively. So from that standpoint, it's been an improvement. We've had Arancha step up in double figures, and we've had Sayoa step up in double figures consistently in the last couple games. So, I think that's something that we're improving on. Areas that we want to continue to improve on is the rebounding aspect and those kind of things. So there's been growth, definitely been growth.
All right, and I'm pretty sure it's Arancha, but I think it was LCCC. I mean, she had a great game down low in the paint. She was able to control the defender and just really make a lot of layups. It's great.
She has really come a long ways this second half of the season, both offensively and defensively. You mentioned the controlling the defender. She's good at guarding him inside the post position and also getting better out on the perimeter when teams play them outside. So I think Arancha has had a huge part on our increase in offense and consistency on both ends.
Awesome. Well, let's hope that the offense continues, because guess what? We've got a nice, I guess you want to call it, revenge game against Western Wyoming here in the suite tomorrow at 5:30. You go down to Western, you lose by 2. Now they're coming here to our house. What can we expect for this game?
Great. They're a great basketball team. They're well coached. They have multiple scorers. There's nobody you can really not play well on defense, because they can fill it up in a short period of time, and they go 8 or 9 deep with that. They're good defensively. They'll change up what they do defensively. They'll play man zone. You just have to be ready to adjust throughout the game, and that's part of the preparation we're doing this week is being ready for multiples and changing throughout the game and those kind of things. But you can expect a very good basketball team coming into our building, well coached and very. I don't know what they're averaging right now, but 70 plus, and they have the capability of knocking down 9, 10, 11, 12 threes in a game. So, defensively, we're going to have to be at a high level.
And right now you have a 3-way tie with them and Gillette for that first place in the North. And so this game is definitely going to be a deciding factor in who gets that lead.
Yeah, there's a lot of, short-term impact on the outcome of this game. Everybody is striving for the number 1 seed, and Western Wyoming and Gillette are both, tied with us in that situation. And, for us, if we win, then we split with Western. But if we lose this one at home, then they have the tiebreaker on us because not if we both finish with, say, 2 losses, they beat us head-to-head twice. So, there, as far as the seeding part goes, I think our goal is always to use each game to get better for tournament, and this would be probably our top priority. Getting the number 1 seed is just definitely no secret. That's something that's advantageous. But our goal is to play as good a basketball as we possibly can at this time of year.
All right. Well, Coach, we're definitely excited to have you here because, we definitely love packing the Swede, cheering you on, watching you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a big game. Yes, it's not about necessarily getting the number 1 seed, but we like to win. All right. We want to be number 1, don't we?
We do, and we would love to have our fans out in full force because it should be a very exciting basketball game.
We got great basketball. We've got a revenge game. We've got a great storyline of, who's going to be up for number 1 in the conference. You can't get more excited than this with basketball.
No, for February basketball, this is as good as it gets.
Ooh, I love it.
I appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Coach, for coming in.
Yep.
T-Bird fans, we will see you next time.
Sounds great. See you Thursday.